All right, all right. Good afternoon. Hello to everybody. I'm Big Cheds. It's Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. This is going to be a replay of the Twitter Spaces from just a few days ago it was Saturday. I think Saturday night on December 10th. I had a really nice Spaces conversation. It's episode 25 of the Ask Me Anything series. It's going on my YouTube channel in the playlist. Twitter Spaces. So you're going to really want to make sure you watch all of these or listen to all of these if you haven't done that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the play button and I am going to just sit back here. We're going to listen to it together. You can ask me questions. I'll try to get to them at some point. But let's get this going. What's up, everybody? It's Big Cheds. It's December 10th, Saturday, December 10th. Happy to be hanging out with you. I'm now doing episode 25, Bitcoin Market Update. Ask me anything. We're going to take a few minutes when people, as people are starting to join. I'm just going to start out by adding. I'm going to be adding a few tweets to the spaces, and then I'm going to send out a reminder to people just to let them know that I'm doing this. And then we can get things rolling. Let me get one tweet is up, and now second tweet is up. All right, I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. Find me on Twitter at Big Cheds. Find me on YouTube at Cheds Trading. This Spaces is going to go on my YouTube at Cheds Trading. There's a playlist called Twitter Spaces, and these are usually hour and a half, 2 hours. And I bring up people, from all around the world, and we just talk. And you ask me questions about trading, about whatever. You share your experiences, and we're creating like a really nice body of work here. These are discussions that you really want to listen to if you're just kind of getting started out and you're looking for some good information, because people will ask questions about situations that you're going through, that pretty much everybody goes through as a trader. So I'm really proud of that, the playlist we've created. So check that out. Also, while you're at my YouTube, check out, there's a playlist called Masterclass Technical Analysis Webinars. There's 3 beginner and 1 advanced webinar, and those will help you learn how to trade, how to identify support and resistance levels, moving averages, Japanese candlesticks, stuff like that. So I want you to make sure you check out that playlist. Let me send out this tweet real quick. BTC, join and ask questions. So check out that playlist. I am the author, of course, of Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know. That book has done unbelievably well. I think I've sold 15,000 copies. There's a free version of that on my YouTube channel in the playlist for Trading Wisdom. I have about 1/3 of the book up there for free now. I just published a new book called Trading Quotes, all original work by me, 1 quote a day, 365 quotes. I do like a quarterly review where I talk about my favorite topics, and it's just a really cool project. I worked on that for the last year. I just got that out, so that's available on Amazon. You'll see the tweet right at the top of the thread. Some of you have that already and have given feedback, which is great. And lastly, if you want to join Bitcoin Live is the best-in-class educational platform for crypto. I'm a founding analyst along with other world-class analysts. I've been doing market reports there for over 4 years. I stop every Wednesday and Sunday night, and I prepare a report, no matter what's going on in my life. And I'm really proud of that, and proud of the work we've done. So when you sign up, you can kind of go back and see what we've been saying, and you can see that that TA really does work, and it does help you understand how to deal with the market. So now check out Bitcoin Live if you're interested in learning professional TA. So this is a Twitter Spaces. This is not about me talking to myself. It's about me talking to you. There's a button in the bottom left, which says request button, request microphone, or whatever. I need you to do that, right? We've only got 60, 70 people to Saturday night. This will build up. But in order, to create value here, I need you to ask a question. I need you to step up and ask a question. We could, you create the topics, and we kind of flow from there. So everybody who's listening, I want you to hit that button right in the bottom left that says request to speak. So we're just going to take a few moments here. while I wait for you to do that. And once I have enough people requesting to speak, we're going to start the conversation. Nobody so far. You folks are slacking. There's the first one. That's good. Let's get a few more hit. I would really, really appreciate it if you hit that button in the bottom left, which is request to speak. I see several repeat people, just listening but not requesting. So anybody who's done this before, whether you've spoken before or not, this is a great opportunity for you to come up and to ask me questions, for us to talk about the market, and to have some fun. When I bring you up, I'm going to keep you muted until it is your turn. So keep that in mind. But go ahead, folks. Please do hit that button in the bottom left. We will not get started until I get at least a few more of you who want to come up and speak. So hit that button in the bottom left, and we'll get this started. All right, we've got a couple people here starting. Let's add them into the conversation. Please wait until I call your name. And there we go. Now we get the conversation going. So first we have Bowsy Pips. You were the first one up. So what would you like to say? And for make sure Twitter has access to your microphone as well, so you can speak. Bowsy, what's going on there? Bowsy Pips, we can't hear you. Bowsy, nobody hears you, bud. All right. Nobody hears you. All right. Up next, let's go DC. I see DC. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Chet? Can you hear me fine?
Yeah. What are you up to tonight?
Actually, I was just looking at Shark Tank. So I was actually, just watching YouTube,
What are you
and then
watching?
just looking at someone's.
Who?
I
Who are you watching?
I was watching Technical Roundup.
Okay, that's really good.
Just listening to something from Cred right now. And then just looking at charts.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I already went through all your stuff, man. So I'm just kind of like
all of it. You did all of it. All of it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I
There's
did.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I did. And actually, I was if you could, I think something that might be helpful for some of the other listeners, right? And I know it's a lot of work. Maybe if you could put like some of the main points that for each of those, these spaces, maybe they can already like kind of like go more direct to it. And I know it's a lot of work. If for example, if in one space they ask about I don't know time frames, you can drop in
every
there.
Space asks the same stuff, brother. I get the same questions every time, which is
figured,
good.
Which is
good. It's practice, It's practice,
Of course. Hey, so I actually got a question for you, man. So I started using just playing around with POCs and NPOCs. What do you think about it? Have you ever used that indicator?
No, I've never used that indicator. But if you think about like a point of control, I mean, your whole point of it is you're trying to identify where, like, what's the most important pivot point in the chart? What's the most important, like, momentum changing point, right? So whether you're using something like that or whether you yourself are making that determination based on like candle body, candle wick, clusters, clusters of price action, where the price has told you to pay attention to in the past, whatever that method is, it's still kind of the same concept. Is you're trying to know where this trend will strengthen or weaken, or like where do I need to pay attention to, right? Because there's chop ranges, there's kind of the big noisy ranges that where the price will churn in, and then there's the key points above and below the major levels to pay attention to. So however you determine that, point of control is fine. I don't use that though.
Yeah,
but it's the right concept. That's the concept you want to employ. And look, we can't, like, if we all use the same indicators, like it would be terrible, right? Like some people love MACD and like RSI. There's great Ichimoku traders, Elliott wave traders, but like if we all had the same style of TA, like I just feel like there'd be no liquidity. I feel like nobody would trade anything because we're all like thinking the same stuff. You know what I mean?
I know, right? I know. That's something that I always think about. Like I'm looking at these charts and I'm seeing people win, but you never hear anybody sharing that they lost. So if everybody's winning,
I know.
who is
know,
not
right?
who is not talking that is losing big time? So it's always funny to
Oh my
see
God,
that,
it's so
right?
true.
Everybody's a winner in Twitter.
Yeah. That's it, man. Well, listen, I'm so glad you stepped up tonight, man. I love that you're working hard and watching all these videos, and keep it up, man. I love what you're doing. All right.
You still there?
Yeah, I said I was giving you a compliment. I said it's great you're putting in all that work and watching all those videos. I said just keep it up, man. I'm happy to hear what you're doing. All right, take care, man. All right, can you guys hear me? Okay, Aurelius, can you hear me? Is it just me?
No, I can hear you.
All right, so yeah, I want to make sure it just wasn't me, folks. We have some speaking spots here available. Wait until I call you, but we have a couple spots. Hit that button in the bottom left. Jump up into the conversation. Aurelius, nice to see you again, man. What's going on?
Hey, it's good to see you too. How's it going?
I'm chilling, man. I'm having a really good time.
Same. I was going through the charts actually most of the day, trying to kind of get my plan for the week. And I actually just had a question in like the Bitcoin Live community. I was curious,
Yeah.
how you want us to approach asking questions there, because I've
Yes.
posted a few recently, and I really appreciate your replies. I mean, they're super helpful.
Oh,
But
thank
I
you.
want to make sure that I'm not annoying you as well.
You're definitely
So,
not annoying me. You're
okay.
not. Like, if I mean, unless you literally are trying to annoy me, ask me the same question, I answer you, and then like ask it again. I mean, like, you're not annoying me unless you literally are intentionally, because I have a lot of patience, and I take, Bitcoin Live is really important to me, as you know. And I scan that 3-4 times a day, looking to see if there are any new questions to be answered. So like I take a lot of pride in that. Like, I try to continue to add value and go for it. If I'm
Cool.
you and I'm part of that service, like, I want to get value, right? So I'm gonna go watch all the old videos and I'm gonna ask all the analyst questions. They may not all answer me, but I'm gonna try to get as much as I can out of it. So I think you should try to do that. Get as much as you can out of it.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, because you're the most active creator and analyst on there, and nobody else responds to questions like you do. And I mean, I just can't. It's hard to put value on that, because somebody with your experience and your teaching ability, it's hard to get access to them. So I really appreciate it. It's been super helpful.
I appreciate you, man. Without you folks, there's no Bitcoin Live. So,
Yeah.
appreciate you,
Um,
bud. So what are you thinking and feeling right now? Like, what's going on?
So I'm thinking long term. Right now, my thoughts, I actually wanted to ask you about, and I'm sure you get this question 1,000 times, but
Yeah.
what's, is it realistic for someone to think that they can make a living trading?
Yeah, of course.
So as
Doesn't
that,
mean it won't be like super hard and you might
right.
just fail for a long time. You might fail
Yeah.
for a long time, but like, it's not everybody, not no. So not everyone can do it because you may not even have the discipline, right? Or work ethic. Like, those are two things which you need kind of to succeed at anything.
Yeah.
Can you make? Of course you can, because I mean, crypto's 24/7. You've got Forex, you have equities. If you can get to the point where you can study trends and you can identify, like the kind of trade setups you like, right? I like an uptrend that just had a big dip. I'm going to buy that dip. It's at major support. You want to do throwbacks, bullish retests, or maybe you only play clear horizontal breaks, head and shoulders, ascending triangle. Like, figure out your style, but then you got to execute too. So you have to be disciplined enough to wait for opportunity and know that there may not be a trade every day or every week or whatever. However you do your setup, you have to be disciplined, wait for opportunity, hold yourself accountable. It's just incredibly hard. It's
Yeah.
incredibly hard. But like, I don't know you well enough to like tell you if you can make it, right? I have to know you, right? Like, your discipline, it's just discipline. The discipline required to tell yourself no is one of the strongest predictors of a trader's success, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell yourself no?
You
Can you
mean
delay
like telling
gratification?
myself no to not worry about missing out on a trade
No,
where
to
I
tell
shouldn't jump
yourself
in?
no when you're trying to do something impulsive, when you're trying to
Oh,
do
gotcha.
something you shouldn't do. to tell yourself no. If you can do that, then you have a much better chance of making it, right?
Yeah. So I come from the traditional finance industry, and when I'm thinking about managing my stop loss,
Yeah.
what I'm thinking about, or what I want to do, is not lose more than a specific percentage. But that is very difficult when I'm trying to put in an entry and manage that, because I feel like I should manage a stop based on a price level.
Always, 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 always.
So
Always.
is the risk just variable and something you have to get used to?
Well, listen, if you are, so the closer your entry is to invalidation, like the easier it is, right? So if
Yeah.
you're trying to enter on like the price hits rejects. I use this example all the time. Rejects at 100, rejects at 100, rejects at 100, breaks through 100, goes to 120, and comes back to 100, and you're trying to play that retest. If you like missed it because you were like at your kid's soccer game and now it's bounced already to 108. I mean, it's not as good an entry because then where's your stop loss? It's below
Yeah.
100, right? So it's timing and trying to wait for the cleanest setups, right? Like if you're not sure about the setup, it's not a setup, right? It
Right.
should be obvious. It should be really clearly well-defined level. And your stop loss is when your idea fails, right? My idea is because we're above 100, I'm long. Well, your idea failed because we're below 100. We're at 98, we're 96 or whatever. So your stop loss needs to be based on the thesis, not a percentage. That's arbitrary because you're trying to correctly understand what the trend is doing, where it's going, and where it may strengthen or weaken in the future.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I've been
Listen,
going
here's the
through.
solution for you, man. I hear the frustration. Just start betting less. You got to go with smaller positions. I think the smaller your position, just the easier it is to do whatever you're trying to do. So I would just cut those positions down and give yourself a little bit more flexibility. I think you'll find it will work out better.
Okay. Yeah, I remember our conversation last. I definitely cut my position since then, but I could probably do it a little bit more. I've been working a lot on patterns here recently, and reading
Good.
books on that. Obviously, I'm reading your books still. So
Patterns aren't the pattern, right? Like it's not as important to like identify a pattern. Is it a bull flag or is it a bull pennant? Like that doesn't matter. What matters is can you identify a level? Where is a level to where the trend strengthens or weakens? Where is the level the price should respect? I mean, whether it's a bull flag or a bull pennant, who cares? It's just consolidation after a move down, which through your studies is likely to continue, right, in the direction of
right.
the trend. So find ways to simplify these things, right? Don't get too hung up on the academics and the patterns of stuff, the names of the pattern, right? Know how to trade a level more than you know how to like name a pattern. So keep that in mind, all right?
Okay, will do. Yeah, that's the first I've heard anybody say that. So
Good. Well, I'm glad
I'll.
we did that.
Yeah, it's making me think about it differently. Well, I
Good.
appreciate it. I won't take up any more of your time. I'm sure
Well,
there's a
we'll
lot of
see
other
you
people
next
with
time, and I'll
questions.
see you on BCL tomorrow.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Take care, brother. All
See
right,
you.
let's go. Next up, we'll try Bawsy. See if you fix your audio. Bawsy Pips. Do you want to hit unmute and see if it works?
Hi, did it work now? Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi. Good, good. How are you? So everything you basically just told Jet, I wanted you basically answered my question, but I do have something that I do have a problem with. And I like listening to you because you just kind of know nonsense and you just tell it like it is. And we really don't like to hear that because, we think we know what we're doing.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think
Jonas.
for me, my major problem is I will see myself, and I'm that type of person. I love to buy the dips, and I know that there's, that support there, and then I'll just go ahead and jump in.
Okay.
My problem is this. I don't know when to let go. And
All right.
I will see the gains and then they start, and I just don't know how to cut it. I don't know how to take the gains. How do I take the
Yeah,
gains?
so that makes more sense. So I get it. So here's what you're trying to do is it's not binary. It doesn't have to be like 1 or 0. Like I get all the gains or I get none of the gains.
Yeah.
You have to find ways to chop it. Like any difficult project, you try to break it into pieces. It's like a common strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Take your position, right? If your whole position, let's say you're doing like $1,000 a trade. I don't know what it is. Could be 100 or 10,000, right? But let's say it's 1,000.
Okay.
Take that $1,000 position and instead have 4 $250 positions with the same trade idea. You got it right. It's up 6%, 7% or whatever. Whether you're doing leverage or not, whatever it is, you're up a decent amount to where you're like wanting to take profit, but you don't want to miss the run. So you end up doing nothing and then you kind of lose it all.
Yeah.
Next time, just move up 2 of those 4 positions into profit. Leave 1 at break even and move 1 in loss or whatever. Like hedge yourself. Be more flexible. You got to, with your strategy, you have to design it in ways to give yourself more flexibility. If you ever find that you're in a rigid position where it's either 1 or 0, all profit or no profit, you messed up. You got to switch it up, right?
Yeah.
So add flexibility. Add flexibility. Add flexibility. You're smart. I can hear it in your voice. Give yourself flexibility. Take a little profit, but leave some to ride. And I think that's a good way to approach it.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Keep hanging. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Let's go with Andres the Whale. And by the way, we have a couple speaking spots, folks. Hit that button in the bottom left.
Hey, Chaz, can you hear me?
Ask question. Hey, what's up, Andreas? How you doing?
How you doing, man? Thanks for the help.
Thank you.
So I just had, in the bear market, I've had a little bit more chance just to think of the macro a bit more. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is, given all the changes, I know you're not necessarily into fundamental analysis. That's not necessarily what I'm asking. I'm more curious about the effects potentially that could happen where, let's say over the next 4 years, the halving cycle happens again for Bitcoin.
Okay.
But there's like a mini bull run and we get up to, let's say, like $50,000 and then it gets faded from there.
But stop there real quick. Before
Yeah.
I answer that question, where was the bottom? When you say, like, before I can even contextualize the 50K, like, is that 50K from 3K or from 15K?
Got
right?
it.
That's a big difference.
Yes. So I'm with you. I think them is between 10 and 12 in my eyes. So let's just assume that happens.
Fine.
Yeah.
5x.
So let's assume that's
5x. Is that a mini bull run of 5x?
For Bitcoin, maybe. For
Right.
traditional equities, maybe not.
Right.
But let's say that happens. My concern is, okay, does that then, for the long-term view, make it a bearish chart?
So it's the right you got the right question, but you posed it like there's much better evidence to pose the question, right? Like,
okay,
you're asking the right question, but you supported it with you should say, Chet, in the past we've always had a crazy run and then we pulled back 80%, right? And then we had a crazy run, right? And in the past we've never gone below the prior all-time high before. Okay.
got it.
You should say, in the past, we've never spent this much time below the weekly MA200.
True. Yeah.
In the past, the weekly MA200 has never been this flat. Then you would say, is this, evidence of whatever? And I'd say yes. Because that's what it is. We have the evidence. That's your evidence. And you had the right question, but there's the evidence. So, so 50K, right? Let's step back. And yes, everybody wants to get rich overnight. Everybody wants, to. What was that song? There's a really cool song about. It's like, I don't want another crypto boy. CEO of unemployed,
Yeah.
right? And his I love this song. It's brilliant. And the guy is like, this Ethereum is gonna get me out of this town, right? It's like he's explaining kind of a mentality, right? Like a thought, like this thing. This is my lottery ticket, right? You got to give stuff time. Like Bitcoin, it may need 5 or 6 years to consolidate before it can do something significant. If we bounce to 50K, fine, that's a lower high from 64K. But what's more important is after going to 50K, what does it do? Does it go back to 12 or does it only go to 20? And now we have a higher low. And then we just have a multi-year tightening range, which probably would be more like what most assets do. But you got to be more patient. Yes, it's weaker. Bitcoin's never been this weak in any of our lives, right? So that's that has to be talked about. We can't talk around that. When people say, "Oh, haha, this time's different," you're an idiot if you think this time's different. Well, it literally is different right now. So we have to kind of temper our expectations a little bit, and like we're owed nothing just because the last 13 years. We made a new high every time. Doesn't mean we're going to get it, next time. So that's what I think about that.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that. Yeah. That clears it up for me in the sense that I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like not a guarantee, obviously it's never a guarantee, but a really, really bad sign. It's more about what happens after, really. Right, it's
Well,
essentially what you're saying.
you're already assuming we go to 50K and that we
Yeah.
bottom at 12K, like nothing, uh, you know, it feels like it could be a sentiment bottom. There's a lot of really bad like vibes and like the news and stuff. Like this is like what those are the right ingredients for a bottom, but like the price isn't really giving us that yet.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
there's still potential to drop below 10K and make that resistance for like a couple years.
Mm.
Right. That's one of the things I've talked about as a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but for me, that's like 10, 12, 13, 15% possibility. These are, that's worth talking about, right? That's a 1 in 8,
So then let me ask
12.5%.
you this, Ches, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
just last question before
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
let somebody else on.
We don't have many people, by the way, before Andre, folks,
Yeah.
hit that button, request to speak. Look at this great conversation I'm having with Andres. We're just hanging out. You could be talking to, hit that button. I want to hear from you. Andres, go ahead.
So my other thought here was, okay, maybe because a lot of people, they don't try and catch bottoms just so that they can kind of get the trend, and we'll just keep going on and up. And so I was looking at the chart on the weekly, and I was trying to find a spot where, okay, if we break through this level, I think it's very likely that we continue the rally. And for me, when I look at the chart, that's somewhere between 25 to 30,000. Do you see that as well?
Well, define that better for me. Give me more than that, because there's a lot of different. There's two levels in between. You're talking about off the top of my head, and I'm now I'll pull up the chart and talking to you, but there's two major levels in there, and one of them is 25 to 25.5. The other one's 28K. I mean, that's the underside of prior loss support. You can't talk about 30K until you talk about 28K, right? You can't skip past.
So let me get more specific here. My specific level would be right around 29,000 is what I'm looking at. Right around
29K. Yeah. Okay. So 29K, right? If we go to 29K, we are back up above the daily MA200. That'd be unbelievable. That'd be beautiful.
Okay.
But I think
because
that's
I'm thinking
a little bit late. If you're waiting till that, it's a little. You're probably you might even be halfway to the move, but that you're definitely bullish if we're above 29K. I mean,
gotcha. Okay. So is there a level before that then that you're looking at? Obviously things can change, but
so have you seen? And by the way, I'm glad you're here. Have you been to my YouTube yet, Ched's Trading?
Yes, I've seen.
Have you
a few. I
seen my
haven't done the
most
whole
recent live stream?
No, I haven't.
All right, so and in the last couple spaces, I've been pretty clear, kind of how I'm breaking it down. So check that out. So basically, the first step to go long is 18.2. Okay, if you break above 18.2, you're back kind of into that 150-day range we just broke down from.
Yeah, I see that. I see that.
Then you have the MA200 just above. That's a big deal, right? MA200 is a big problem. So if you clear the daily MA200, you can start to get encouraged. And then if you're above 25.5, you're adding to your long position. 28K, you're really adding to it, But it's not necessarily about these prices, it's how they get there as well, right? It's the same with support. Like when we say 12K, if it slow bleeds to 12K, it's going to 10K. But if it gets to 12K quickly, it's going to bounce off to 12K, right? So it's not always just the price as well. It's kind of how it gets there, So you have to also have that context in the back of your mind.
Awesome, Ches. Well, I really appreciate it, man. That helped a lot. I was curious what you thought about that because I respect your opinions on this stuff.
Man.
So
thanks for hanging out tonight. All right.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you on Big Cheds on Twitter. That's consider following me on Twitter. Check out Cheds Trading on YouTube. Free version of my best-selling book, Trading Wisdom. You can get a free version of it there. It's available on Amazon for purchase. I just published a brand new book, Trading Quotes, with 365 quotes, one quote a day. It's all original work. Really looking forward to your feedback on that. Let's get some more folks up. I want to hear you speak. There's a button in the bottom left that says request to speak. If you just want to hear me talk to myself, go to my YouTube channel. But if you want to talk to me, I want to talk to you, hit that button. Please request to speak. Chad Raswick.
What's up, Chad? How are you, man?
I'm like a 9 out of 10 right now. How about you?
Nice, dude. Nice. I got a question for you. So I started trading about 2 years ago. I've been following you on Twitter for 2 years. You and Bessa, Gunnar, a bunch of people. I had to weed through the bad characters like BitBoy, and no offense to him.
Yeah.
He has his place and he has good good things on what's going on in the crypto world. But
Can
other
I
than
just
that,
say
I'm
real
going to be
quick,
down.
Ben and I are becoming friendly, so don't be
Good,
shocked if you see me
good,
streaming with him in the next
good.
month or two.
That's awesome. So I'll give you a rundown. The first year I started trading, I got absolutely walloped. I lost probably about 25K. I had no idea what I was doing in the middle of a bull run. And I'm like, I'm just getting waxed. I reloaded. But I
Yeah.
finally reloaded in June. And, I've been in on balance volume, Fibonacci,
Yep.
horizontal, all the resistances, all the stuff. I kind of have gotten it down and I'm finally profiting. I'm up 20% on my portfolio in a
Wow.
downtrend
Nice.
since June. And I don't know what a good yearly percentage on your portfolio is. I don't know. I mean, I see the stock market's like
Yep.
what 9.8% yearly. I don't know. If you follow crypto Twitter, everybody wants you to believe Rolexes, Lamborghinis. Dude, I just
So
don't
here's the
lose.
thing.
And we all know that's BS.
So I hear a couple things. First of all, I from your voice, I think we've talked before. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah.
I recognize your voice. So I mean, you need to give yourself you need to you have my permission to feel good. You've already done a good job. And so I hear in your voice where it's almost like I think I've done a good job, but everyone else, is it really true that I should have a Lamborghini right now? Or is
No,
this,
God, no.
you
God,
know what
no.
I mean?
No,
Not that
that's
you are,
that's
but I'm
hype train.
over making the point. I'm
Right,
over making the
right,
point. You did a really
right.
good job. Um, it's really just about how are you better than yesterday? Are you better than how you were
Absolutely.
yesterday? And that's
Absolutely. I don't
really
take
all that
trades, Jed.
matters.
I
What's that?
wait for trades to pop out at me. I used to hop
Yeah,
on a Saturday and be like, hey, my buddy Ian, do you want to trade today? Like, I don't hop on to trade. I don't even trade on the weekends. Like,
right.
it has to meet my criterias. I don't chase money. I have a stop loss today. If you're on here listening right now and you don't set a stop loss because you always get stopped out, but then you get liquidated, you're not going to make it. You need a better stop. You need to find better levels to trade at. And
Right.
and it takes a while. It takes a while, but I'm here to tell
So
you,
what's
man.
been the big thing that's it's made the biggest difference for you and kind of your progression?
Not really for me, not knowing the key levels, knowing where support and resistance is, knowing if it's going to hold that, and just because it hits support at a key level, not buying right away, watching the price action. What's it doing? I have book maps, so I'm seeing different liquidity levels, knowing what's kind of going on there. Is this going to hold or is this a fake out? There's so many traps in the market that most people
Yeah.
don't see. Can
Yeah.
you spot that? Do you have an eye for it? I've been playing poker since '96. I worked in a pool
Oh,
hall in college. Yeah, and so I
just
lost 20K back then trying to learn that game. But
Hold'em, Omaha, or what? Like, what were you playing?
well, I played pot limit Omaha,
Yeah,
and
high and
but
low or
mostly
just high?
high low.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
with a kill,
I
with
played
a
the high
kill.
only. There's too much math for me when you do the low as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it's fun. But back then we didn't have no limit. It was very scarce. It was fixed
Yeah.
limit, so I played 10-20. But I got learning that was before the moneymaker era. I had to pay my dues,
Ah,
and I lost a lot before I learned to profit from that. So I understand that game. But I'll tell you what, learning poker is way less painful than learning how to trade. This
mm,
market will dice you up and not give a living shit how
yeah,
you feel. But
it's true.
once you get it, I think there's money to be made there.
Good for you, man. I feel that you sound in control. And you sound that you're confident, but you want to get better, and you will. So, keep it up, man. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Chad.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon, Chad. I see a good buddy of mine in the audience, Mr. Peter Brandt. If you want to speak, Peter, just shoot me a DM. If not, you can just hang out. It's really nice to see you. JK, what's going on, JK?
Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Just really cool to see you, Peter, in the same space. Definitely two people I look to a lot for trading wisdom. And Ched's, your book is awesome. I finished Trading Wisdom a couple weeks ago, so
Oh,
I'll definitely check out the new ones.
awesome. So nice, man. Looking forward to your feedback.
Yeah, but I think you nailed it earlier when you were talking about, Bitcoin maybe being stuck under this 18.7 support, maybe up to 25, but kind of oscillating could take years. I was just wondering, in a sideways market like that, theoretically, if that's what happens,
Yep.
are you still trading within those boundaries actively, or are you searching elsewhere for a trade?
So in that type of a market, right, and it's similar, and I can answer that in the broader scale. What would be like my strategy, or what I would recommend in like a 2 or 3 year sideways BTC consolidation? It's the same thing as I would kind of say after like a big BTC move down where it's going to churn for a bit. It's just always about looking for relative strength, right? So when all things are equal, like what's not equal, right? What are the charts that are like, wow, everything's bearish, but this one's weird. It keeps making a new high, and oh, wow, every time this one, comes back to EMA 8, it's bouncing. You know what I mean? So let's say that is true, that I'm right, that BTC finds a bottom somewhere in like an 8 to 12K range, and it bounces, and then it takes probably, I don't know, 18 months, and 2 years, it gets to 50K, 45, 50K, it stops. And now we say, okay, we have our macro lower high. We have a multi-year equilibrium forming for Bitcoin, right? With a November high, and let's say like a January, February low, 2022, and then whatever 2024 high, lower high, right? And we're doing that, and everyone comes around and says, okay, it is different this time. We're not just doing 80%, and maybe we're going to do a multi-year, tightening range. Well, what do? You look for relative strength, because you never know when, I didn't know DeFi summer was coming. Like, I don't even know what it was, what it meant. Like, I don't need to know. Like, someone sent me a notification today, and it was, Chad, you need to figure out why, X, Y, and Z is up 1,000%. I said, I don't care why something's up 1,000%. I just want to know what that means. Like, what the context of that volatility is. I have the chart. I don't care why something's moving, right? So you never know when one of those things is going to pop up. DeFi summer, or just like a chart that is a steady grinding, stair stepping, higher low chart that just keeps holding, EMA 8. If not, it's holding the middle Bollinger. There's always going to be relative strength or relative weakness. That's equally as important to watch, because when the whole market gets a little mercy bounce, right? Those are always great candidates for a short. When you have just like charts are weak, and you've watched them, you've studied them, you understand them, and then just like that market, when that market gets that like mercy bounce, John, do you know what I'm talking about? Where kind of everything just gets that little relief, and then you know go target that relative weakness chart, and you can short that one. So it's just about relative strength or relative weakness study if you're in like a really persistent sideways trendless environment. All right, JK, you hear me,
Awesome.
buddy?
Appreciate that. Yeah, man. Thank you. And hey, we actually exchanged tweets like a couple weeks ago about the S&P 500. Not to totally flip over to stocks, but you had pointed out like a
Tell me.
rising wedge
Yeah,
that I think is manifesting
let's
fairly
talk
well.
about it.
I got stopped out of a long position in equities.
Let's see. Let's check it out. Yeah, John, I see you. I know who you are, brother, for sure. So I'm glad I'm talking to you. So
You too.
um, so what are you thinking? What are you saying here on the spot?
I mean, my gut, I'm looking at stocks, and they seem pretty weak after this rally. They kind of had a bit of a breakout maybe a week ago, but then failed out of like kind of flag formations. So
Okay.
I guess are you getting the sense that stocks are going to roll over again here?
I mean, well, that would be just the easiest bet, right? Because it's a trend, and what do trends do? Like, they usually continue. I mean, if I'm just looking at like the daily for the SPY, it's just a glaring lower high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's probably a lower high. And that's the thing. You get these beautiful relief rallies, these monster mean reversions in like and if you think about like Bitcoin, how Bitcoin's consolidated in the way down, right? And we'll get back to SPY, but like any trend that will pause and have like, I'll just take the opportunity to make this point. Any trend that will pause and consolidate nicely along the way will it creates like speed bumps for when the price goes back in the opposite direction, right? So the fact that Bitcoin's like paused on the way down, consolidated, like tried to bounce in April, failed, paused, had these rising, even in June, rising wedge break, and then a lower high, and then like a failed double bottom. Like when you have all this consolidation, right? Not only are you resetting oscillators, RSI, MACD, or whatever, but like you're creating obstacles for any future bounce, and that's why Bitcoin's kind of effed. It's kind of in trouble, right? So I'm kind of seeing a little bit of that here with the SPY. I mean, you're like a monster relief rally, in the SPY, like just 340 to 390. Relative weakness, obviously, in equities, talking about relative weakness and strength. You can see that, Qs The Qs are much weaker than the SPY. Just it's for much just looking at the MA 200 in the daily, right? You can just see that relative weakness. The Dow has been strong. The Dow is still pretty strong, and Dow actually broke that. So Dow is a little bit different, right? Like Dow had a lower high break, right? Like Dow broke its August high, John, right? But now it's back below it, and now it's back below it, and it just generated a fresh sell signal,
Exactly.
a fresh short signal. So, I want it to go up. I mean, like I have long equities, right? But, like if you're just betting, you say it's probably going down. Like it's probably going to continue. It's it's the better hand in poker, right? It's the better hand.
Yep. And like you always preach, I mean, we do this for risk management purposes. It's not to have fun. And so, our lives are long equities. I never want stocks to go down just because of what it means for the world. But if I'm hedging, other parts of my portfolio, it's really useful to understand how to use these tools.
100%, man. It's 100%. So, all right, man. So appreciate you stepping up tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to jump off. Thanks, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Take care. All right. Let's go next up. One moment here. I'm just going to send a quick message. Great. Sending invite to speak. All right. Let's see who is up here next. And folks, if you want to join the conversation, just hit that button in the bottom left. Just had a nice talk there with John. Hit that button in the bottom left, which is request to speak. I would love to hear from you. I want to hear your perspective and your thoughts. Face of, why don't you go ahead? Face of Cosmos.
Hi, man. So I've been in the crypto space since 2017, and a lot of the money I made was honestly out of dumb luck.
Yeah.
And so when I began trading, what I personally realized, and I'd love to hear other people's thoughts, is that I'd be really impressed to find a system that has a higher win rate than 50%. And I know I'm only going to be right 50% of the time. And if I can be right 50% of the time and have a risk to reward of greater than 1, I think then you can have a really good profitable system. And with most systems, I think it's more about managing risk, like not losing more than 1% of your capital per trade. I think that's really the crux of each system. What would you think of that?
Yeah, you're starting to get on the right track. And so, but I will say this, 50%, it's not important. What's important is, do your wins make up for the losses? So, I've been thinking about this and talking about this and writing about this. And I address this in my book. Some of the best traders make, win, far below 50% of their trades, but they take small losses, right? They don't add to losers. They don't ride these positions down. They accept when their trade thesis fails, right? They define their risk, but they let their winners ride, right? They let their winners more than make up for it, right? So it's not about 50%. It's not about 50%. It's about how effective, I want to know how effective you are at sticking to your stop loss. What's your percentage on that? Are you 95% of the time effective at sticking to your stop loss? That's more important than how many, trades you win or lose. It's, can you define your trade idea, know when that trade idea fails, and follow through on taking the small loss, right? Every single devastating loss you are forced to take was once a small loss you refused to accept. So it's about defining your risk aggressively, and then letting your winners ride, and which is hard to do. That's not. You can just say it. It's not as easy as just doing it, right? You can just say it, but figuring that out. Okay, split your position up and take partial profit and lead some of those positions and let them ride. Like I talked to an earlier caller. So there's ways to do it. So manage your risk, and make sure your winners are bigger than your losers. That's more important than above or below 50%.
What I meant by that is, if 50% of your trades are losers, but 50% of your winners have a risk to reward of say 1.5. I mean, then your winners will be, the profits will vastly be larger than your losses.
I get that. I get what you're saying, and you're thinking it through academically, but I'm trying to impress upon you is to focus on executing, taking a small loss. That's like what separates people who survive trading and those who don't.
Oh no, I agree, which is why I'd say that I personally never lose more than 1% of my capital per trade. But I because when I went into this, I thought, I need to have a winning system or a win rate of like 70 or 80%.
Yeah.
But what I personally realized is that most systems actually, you can be really profitable on a winning system with only 40 or 50% or even 30%.
Sure.
So
So
I
allow
was
me, if I
wondering if
may,
you.
Peter, can you hear us now, Peter? You should be able to unmute yourself. If you can, there should be a button there in front of you. There we go. Hello, good friend.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm really really happy that you're here.
I just heard that the Big Cheds was crawling around on Twitter and figured I'd hear your voice before I hit the sack. Us old guys go to bed about 7:30.
Oh man, I am crawling around. You are right about that.
Hey, I'm not going to stay long, but let me speak to
Yeah.
just a couple of things I've heard. This last speaker is absolutely right. I mean, my historical win rate's probably just under 50%. And I got to tell you, I've been written up in Jack Schwager's Market Wizards book and know an awful lot of the guys that were written up there. And from time to time, we've kind of gotten together at various places, the Broadmoor in Colorado and so forth. You put a gathering of market wizards into a room for a weekend, you will not hear anybody say the word win rate because it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you have, and let me tell you, people that go around bragging about an 80%, 90% win rate, you need to run the other way from those folks because it just doesn't hold water when you really start looking at the numbers. And you're absolutely right, Chet. It's the ratio of winners to losers that in size is what matters. And let me just touch on another person who was talking about, what kind of rate of return do you expect and so forth. And my own thought on that is expectations are dangerous. I don't think about rate of return. It's not something I think about is, well, what my rate of return is going to be next year. I want to think about how do I become more excellent at what I do? How do I reach excellence in order entry? How do I reach excellence in understanding my trading metrics? And how do I reach excellence in determining sizing and risk management? And you focus on the process, and you focus on risk management. And the funny thing is, most everything will then fall into place. And in terms of rate of return, the best traders alive, guys like Druck and Soros and Tudor Jones, those guys are in the area of 30 to 40% a year. That's world class. Now, I know when you get into the world of cryptos, you can blow the top off of that one, but you also can sink yourself too. So you got to look at both sides of the coin. So, in my opinion, rate of return is irrelevant because you always have to measure it against risk. And so, what's the risk adjusted rate of return? The metrics I focus on are profit factor and gain to pain ratio. And I know if I can get a profit factor in 2023 of 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, that's going to convert to about a 40% rate of return. And so that's my focus is cutting losses short, letting winners run.
Oh, we're so lucky that you just kind of jump in. I love talking to you, and yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with more of what you said. For me, it's process, right? Like I said to the other one, am I better than I was yesterday? Do you kind of agree with that sentiment? It's just about you and your improving your technique.
Oh yeah, I mean the markets aren't our competition; we're our own competition. Our inner self, the worst of us, try to sabotage the best of us every day in trading. And so, how do you manage the beast inside? is really the hurdle that you got to get over to say, hey, I can be consistently profitable and understand what I'm doing. So anyway, hey, thanks for hosting this, Juds. I've got to run. Like I say, us old guys go to bed early. But
Good.
hey, have a good faces, and it's great just checking in with you.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. And Faces, thank you for the question. Okay.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. All right. What an honor. I mean, life is pretty good. I get gentlemen like that who are just stepping up and casually, But he's I've been working with Peter now for over 4 years, and he's a nice guy. He's brilliant. I mean, we got a great book, by the way. Diary of a Commodities Trader is really good. It's like a pretty easy read for a trader. Actually, it's not as heady as you might think. It's very, I really liked it. So let's go with Alex, and I see some other folks stepping up who we've had before. Alex, what's up, man?
Yes, sir. What's up, man? How are you?
Good, thank you for asking.
That's good. Beautiful. I wish you're having a good time, man, and thank you for doing these. You're amazing. So I wanted to ask you, I was actually thinking of entering trade, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it as well.
Okay.
So looking at the chart of trust, TWT.
TWT, yeah, it's a bullish chart, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking to go long, and my idea was to have an entry at around 2.4, 2.5 with a stop loss at 2.2. Would you think that's a good idea to enter that trade, or
Tell me
do you
more.
have any?
Tell me more about not just the number, but why. Like, tell me why 2.4. Like, start with that.
Because it's like basically it's like not like a level that would hold if it was like bullish, like if it was to break out.
I agree with you, but tell me why. I want to hear more. I want you to explain it to me and everyone else. I agree with you, but there's something I'm not hearing that I want to hear. It's the prior resistance where the price initially rejected, right? Back on like November, 16, 17, 18, 19, right? And then it's right. So that makes sense. You want to flip that, right? You want to stair step. When you have a resistance and you break it, ideally you want to continue to hold it, right? So I think that's a good level. That's your throwback level. So and what is 220?
220 the stop loss, just around
Yeah.
220.
Yeah, I would have been a little bit. I'd be about like 225, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because if you look at those higher low structure, like you either hold that higher low at 226 or you don't. I mean, that's you need to hold a higher low.
Yeah.
At that point you would be below. Yeah. So I mean, if you're gonna play something long, that's a fine chart. It's an uptrend. You want to play a long and an uptrend, not a downtrend. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate
Keep on
you.
Rocking. Hey,
Alright,
have you
thank
seen my YouTube yet? Have you been to my YouTube?
Yes, sir. Always listening. I have your book as well. I have Peter's book as well. So it's just grinding.
How about the new book? Have you bought it yet?
I haven't, but I will for sure.
You will love it. I'm telling you. All right.
100%, man. You're a motivation.
You got this. Thanks for stepping up. Make sure you step up next time. It's all about
I
you,
will.
man.
I will. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Alex. We got my buddy in the house, Pi 8. Pi 8.
Hey, Jeds.
What's up, dude?
I was wondering, you say one of the indicators you use is sentiment, and I think if you could expand a little bit on when you use sentiment to go against the crowd sentiment versus when you use sentiment to go with the sentiment.
So with the sentiment, when do I use it to go to the sentiment? So all right. So remember back in April, right? The first high, not my first high, but the first high for Bitcoin in 2021, right? It was like 64K. And after that, we had like a really crazy alt run for like a week or a week or so of like alts were going insane. Like Litecoin, it was like TRX, like even like XVG, right? And I put out a tweet. It was 3 words. It said too much enthusiasm, right? And that was just what I was feeling at the time. I'm like, listen, there's too much enthusiasm here. I don't know what it means exactly, it's not a chart level, but like, hey, this is too much enthusiasm, hold on there, Pima, one moment. So it's too much enthusiasm. So When you notice that imbalance, and you say, okay, now maybe I'll look for the price structure to give me a short entry, right? Like right now we have a sentiment bottom, but we don't have a price bottom. I'm more willing to look for a price bottom and accept it now that we have a sentiment bottom. And I know you've been here, and I know you've heard me say for the last like 5 months, where's the sentiment bottom? And we're starting to get it, right? So that's kind of how I use it. I use it just in the same way I use anything that's not the price. I use that to help me look at the price, right? Like an oscillator. These are all secondary things. Like it's all about the price. Sentiment will tell me to pay more attention to the price. Divergence will tell me to pay more attention to the price, right? Anything other than the price that I value, like sentiment, when there's an imbalance, then that kind of gets me to start looking at the price, for something to work with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And when do you use sentiment as kind of a way to ride that wave? If it's, everyone's getting bearish and it's the correct time versus people are being bullish and it's
I
the right
honestly,
time.
most of the time, think about it this way. It's like if you think about sentiment from bullish to bearish, right? Let's say it's on like a 0 to 10 scale. You know what I mean? And like most of the time it's between 3 and 7. You know what I mean? I just pay attention when it's at like 8 or 9 or 1 or 2. And so I just noticed, and it's not something I can exactly teach you how to do. It's just like I spend a lot of time on Twitter, sadly. But so I get a good sense of sentiment, and I do these spaces that helps a lot too. But I just,
So you're
yeah.
mainly using them as tops or bottoms, not so much trends.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just looking for an imbalance. I don't pay attention to sentiment unless it's over on one side or the other of the seesaw. If the seesaw hits the ground on one side or the other, I'll pay attention. And I'll say, maybe something's up here. But it can stay that way for a while. I mean, you can have extreme sentiment for a while. That's why price will always lead. It's just something. All right, let's think about it this way, right? We had remember in June we bottomed, and then we did that triple negative divergence with the OBV. Do you remember me talking about that?
Yep.
It's like by the time you had double divergence, you're like, wow, like, you're really looking for a short. But it was a triple. Like there was another high after that. So you still have to, even when like you get a signal like a sentiment or a negative divergence with the OBV, it's the price still has to lead. So but you're looking now you're paying attention because you have the sentiment on one side or the other. I mean, am I answering it? Am I getting what you're asking?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Are you long or short here? What's going on?
I am, let's say, you could say I was scared out of the market. So I am in that sentiment mode of waiting for price to go below where I got out.
Yep.
So that I can feel good about getting long again.
Would you get long? Well, what about going up? Is there a price where it like goes up and you'd get long or no?
Yes, I think I would. I think if it stabilized here for a while, started to move up, but
yep.
I feel like I have too much of a bias of it wanting it to go down so I can get back in under my cells.
I've been there like 1,000 times. I know I've been there like so many times.
And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I certainly fear that
so
I'm gonna miss a little bit, but then I just know, hey, that's just FOMO. So
just have a plan.
That.
Here's what you got to do. You're not going to ever get over your feelings. Like you just have. It's like with like a thought. You think about meditation. You be aware of the thought. Can't make it go away. You be aware of your feelings. But then say, here's my plan. If it goes above 18.2, I go long. If it goes down to 15.5, I'll pay attention. You know what I mean? Just have a plan. Maybe pick your own numbers, but just have a plan, and then just focus on that, and feel okay, just feeling one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
All right, brother.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Cheers. Let's go with Pama. Why don't you go for it? Pama Trading. Pama Sarin. Pima. Sorry.
Hey guys, thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. What's going on?
I recently, maybe last week, purchased Bitcoin, and then according to many analysts, experts, technical experts, saying that there's a strong support demand somewhere like around 13K. And I'm thinking right below right there, I'm gonna stop loss right there. Is that something that would you all recommend?
Can you your question is? Can you say it again? Can you? Do
Is
you mind?
there like next strong demand support for Bitcoin below like somewhere around like 13K? Is that something that
Yes,
you all
sure.
see?
I'm happy to describe the price structure. So if you drop to like a weekly chart, you can observe like what all we can do is observe the data, right? So we observe the 2018 high, the 2019 high, the 2020 high, basically right at 12K. The 12K is the top of a support zone between 10 and 12K, right? So
Okay.
back in April when we were about 40K, I started talking about us eventually getting down to 12K, where we are almost now. Right back in April, because you saw the longer term trend breaking down. You saw there was really no support, not a lot of support between 40 and 30, and certainly nothing between 30 and 20. And you know that a trend can test a level. If it can test a level, it's a good chance to break it, especially if it has some kind of momentum. So anyway, after 20K, you're already thinking 12K because that's the top of a support level. You've identified it. It's been really easy to see from a long ways away. So we are almost there. It doesn't mean we're going to get there, right? You can always stop and reverse and recapture lost support. So if we don't go to 12K, at some point we're going to have to flip one of these lost support levels, whether that's 18.2K, 25.5K, daily MA200, 28K, pick your level, but it's got to flip those in order for the trend to reverse. So, I don't know if it's going to go to 12K, but if it does, I'll start to get interested.
Okay. That's all I want to know. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, guys.
Well, hold one more thing, my friend. Have you seen my YouTube, by the way?
No, I haven't.
I highly recommend two things. I wrote a book that was really popular called Trading Wisdom. There's a free version of it, and there's a playlist called Trading Wisdom. Like, I think you'll like it. Check that out. There's a playlist called Masterclass Technical Analysis Tutorials. It's free. There's 3 like beginner tutorials. These are like, I could sell these as a course. They're all free.
Okay.
They're really good. It's going to get you because you'll feel more in control if you can understand what the trend is doing, right? So what I want to say is this: it's not about the price. It's about how it gets there. Right? Okay, a sharp drop is more likely to reverse than a slow bleed, because you think about momentum. You need to reverse momentum with a sharp drop. It moves too fast, too far. It's like in war, like there's a counterattack where one side uses all their resources to get one checkpoint, but then they get counterattacked and then they lose everything. It's momentum, so it's not always just about the price. It's about how it gets there. So there's more to it.
Right.
There's more context, and take advantage of the resources out there. All right, bud?
I was thinking like the more you see, like everybody seems like they have a stop loss somewhere like right exactly 12K, and that means maybe it will hit everybody's stop loss and
Whoa,
maybe
whoa, whoa!
right
What are you
after
talking
like
about?
below
A
there.
lot of people have stop losses, 15K, 16K, 17K. Although they're all different. I mean, a lot of people aren't in yet. So who are these? I mean, avoid trying to think about the market as a monolith or as like one creature or one individual. It's just about you and what your plan's going to be. Stop. What other people are thinking needs to be less important to you. Do you know? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Come back next time. All right.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
I love doing this. Hussein, thanks for being so patient.
Hi, Chaz. Yeah, thank you for your time and sharing your knowledge with all of us.
Thanks for hanging out tonight. How you doing?
Yeah, good. I have one simple question. So I've heard a lot of technical analysts and experts. They keep saying that the market is unclear now, and they advise people to kind of like stack cash and to wait until the market like bottoms, because the bottom is not there yet.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean? I mean, I always thought that I mean, it's a good opportunity, that kind of like dollar cost averaging while the market is going down, because I mean, in the end it will eventually go up, and then you
Why?
can like get
Why?
some.
Why? Says who? What's the guarantee? Is this money you don't need or not? Is it like money you need for your daughter's college fund, or is this money that you like? If you lose it, you won't be able to buy a boat. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I'm always just investing like very like small amount of my income, like maybe maybe like 5 to 7% money that I can
That's a
risk
lot
to
of money.
lose.
That's a lot of money.
And it's like for long term. So I mean, for example, right now if I look at the Bitcoin all-time high, it's like 60K,
Okay.
and now it's like around like 16, 17K. So
Yeah. I mean, if your horizon's like 10 years, you're probably safe, right? Like, I'm not a financial analyst. I'm a trend analyst. Here's the point, and I'll let you continue your question. I just think as long as you understand that this time is different with Bitcoin. Do you understand that?
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crazy things
No,
happen.
no. I don't. That's no. I'm talking about the price. We've never traded below a prior all-time high before. We're doing that now, right? The price has never spent this much time below the weekly MA 200, which is a simple moving average. It's an equally weighted average of 200 weeks of price. The trend has never been this weak in its history, right? It's an asset class. It's 13 years. So we need to, if you're doing all that DCA, as long as you understand it's brand new territory. There are no guarantees. There's no guarantee we ever make a new all-time high. Ever. No guarantees. It probably will. Even as someone as kind of cautious as me, I'm sure it probably will. But maybe it takes 15 years. Maybe it takes 3 years. Fine. But maybe it takes 15. Like, what's your time horizon? You like, as long as you understand this time is different. The trend has never been this weak. Okay? Like, the Bitcoin chart's in trouble right now, and I don't think a lot of people are, so when you say DC, people have been telling me about DCA since 30, 40K, telling me I'm crazy to be analyzing the trend when why wouldn't I just buy here when I know it's going to be 150K next year? Well, how do you know that? So when you say to me it's eventually going to be higher, I'm asking you, how do you know that?
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so what does it mean like stacking cash? I mean, is it like
Stacking what?
like stacking cash,
Satoshis or cash?
cash? Yeah, like
Stacking cash, yeah.
like USD, for example.
So about like a USD, like in your bank account, or like a stable coin on an exchange?
Yeah, that's a question. Like
So listen, you've got the synthetic dollar, which is used on the exchanges as a means of liquidity to like get in and out of trades, for a user to just. I can't even explain it, intelligently, because I'm a price guy. I'm not a fundamental analyst, but it's used to facilitate the trading environment, right? That's different than like a dollar in your bank account. I don't think you need to keep like tons of stable coins on an exchange unless you don't need the money. Like, it's risky. I don't know what's what right now. I don't know what's what. Where can you keep your money? Where is safe? Like, if Bitcoin drops and does a crazy drop, I mean, then why not just transfer, some funds in then? I mean, like, if it really is the bottom, you should. It's not about. Here's the thing. It's not about nailing the bottom. It's about riding a trend. Like, I'd rather miss. I'd be so glad to miss the bottom as long as I can correctly capture the remaining 85, 85% of the move, and then not have to deal with all the risk of, getting that last 15%. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man. It's good to hear from you. Khalid, I'm glad to see you tonight, Khalid. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, homie? How you doing?
I'm good, man. What's happening?
Oh man, this economy driving me nuts. I mean,
Tell me.
oh, I am really recently looking beyond the crypto itself because I still have some stocks and some stuff. And by the way, recently I bought Tesla at 169. Do you think and I went a little bit heavy. Do you think this is a dumb buy? The reason that I choose 169 because on the chart, if you will go to August 2020, that was almost the top of that cycle at that time, and it kind of touched it and it started bouncing a little bit, and it was also the bottom of the plunger for the daily. So I don't know. Do you think it's a good idea to keep that position? I'm in profit right now.
Good for you. So how's everything else, man? Everything's good otherwise?
No,
Family?
yeah, everything is good. Oh yeah,
Good.
man. Yeah,
Let me
the
take a look.
little
Let me.
one, the
Yeah.
little one drive me nuts. But other than that,
So here's
things are
Tesla.
good.
Glad you stepped up. So Tesla in the daily chart, you can obviously daily chart's a downtrend. I get that. So you talk about 169
Yes.
level. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out. I'm looking for prior highs. Now, what are you talking about? The August 20 highs? You said
I was looking. Yeah, if you look in August and Friday, August 14th, and I had it marked long time ago,
14.
2020. That
Yeah.
was kind of the top of at that time, and it went the whole way down, and it touched it kind of a little bit. It went to
Let's
167,
go
and I
weekly
said like,
chart. Let's go weekly chart together. All right.
all right, I am opening the weekly as I'm talking to you.
Okay. All right. Let's go there. And folks who are listening, I'm gonna mute you real quick just for the
Yeah.
background. Okay. Yeah, mute yourself. Khalid, go ahead, mute yourself. Let's see here. All right. And sorry, folks. All right. So weekly chart, Khalid. So all right, now you can unmute, right? If you
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah.
So I see, man, weekly 200 is pretty big deal to me, don't you think?
Yeah.
And
And see,
then that lines up with the cluster. Look at the cluster from August through like November of 2020, like that bull flag. Look at that bull flag. Right?
yes,
That's beautiful.
I'm watching it right now.
That's
Correct.
beautiful support, right? That's beautiful support. So, if you're long in here, I think it's okay because you have like a lot of support just below. Would I rather buy at the 140? Sure. But MA 200 is coming up. I feel most of the time you're going to bounce off the MA 200 in a trend this strong, with this much time interval in between. Like it was October 2019, the last time it was here. So what I'm trying to say is in the weekly chart, I'd be inclined to be looking for a long here, maybe even interpreting a falling wedge, into the MA 200. So yeah.
Finally learning something, huh?
No, I mean you know what you're doing, but
No. I know. I'm just joking
yeah,
with you.
indeed.
But no, honestly, I already had a plan. I was saying like any close below 2% loss, I'm cutting it. Like I already had my plan.
Yeah.
2% is what I'm willing to risk in a loss, and I'm cutting it.
What do you think about
Like below that?
Where's the bottom in BTC, Khalid?
Honestly, man, harmonic wise, and that's me personally, and I'm not really bullshitting you. 11,900 something.
Yeah.
I really think 11,900, man. And honestly, my fear is not only the Bitcoin, to be honest with you. My fear, man, is the whole economy, man. I've been reading a lot of our recessions. I've read a lot of other things. It's not only Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a smaller thing. Like, you know what I mean?
But you're not trading for next week. You've got a family, Khalid, right?
Right now, I'm short. To be honest with you, from 17 to 100.
Yeah.
Actually, let me look at it. I open a short at 17 to 109. I am short, and my stop loss is 17,505. It's above. It's above the candle, like the last trying to break out. So my stop loss is 17,505.
Yeah.
I'm short. And to be honest with you, also another thing in KuCoin, I don't know, it's a little bit risky move. I bought some of what they call them, like BTC 3S. I don't know if you heard about them.
No.
It's the tokens for a short, so
Yeah.
you would never get a liquidated in it.
Mhm.
You just kind of buy them and you just let them sit. And honestly, I bought a little bit of them, and I bought the short one. I said, like, you know what? Those will never gonna charge me any fees for having a position open. I just bought some in Ethereum, some in BNB, and some in Bitcoin, and I'm short in 3 of them. Not a massive thing, and I am literally not going to sell them. This is my longer term, if I will say, and it's a short. It's not a long.
All right, bro.
Other than that, really, there is nothing that I'm in it. But my last point that I really would like to ask you,
Please.
what do you think is the recession thing or this huge economy thing in 2023? Back in time in 2021, I was one of those who was so optimistic, looking for the $200,000 Bitcoin, looking for all these things. Me personally, I mean, you know what? When you see everything green, you think it's gonna last forever. But honestly, man, everything is crazy. And by the way, and I'm not trying to like spread a thought, I took out like a few weeks ago 50% of all my fund out of everything, and I put it in my bank account. And right now, I have only 50% in couple exchanges. And I swear to God, I am so close to even just leave 5% in there and because I just see, man, nothing really. I'm not really making that much money anymore. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just rather just move it out and just keep my money safe, better than
Okay.
losing it.
Listen, brother, it's great to hear from you. You know, in terms of the economy, and look, I'm cynical, so I think the people who run the world, the people in power, they'll want to make money again. There'll be a new bull run. I don't know when it is. So I just, I hope people can manage the best they can. I wish people luck. I mean, and we just have to manage our risk. Don't take don't take excess risks right now. I mean, I'm not out here trying. I mean, this is not something I really talk about a lot. But so I just I don't know. I'm not a fundamental analyst, but I think that there will be a new bull run. But for the meantime, assume it's not going to happen next week, next month. Just wait it out. Just the thing is, you don't need to catch a bottom, right? So if there's a new bull run, it'll be a multi-year bull run. So just let things settle down a little bit and wait till no reason to kind of jump in too early would be my thing.
Getting
All right.
bored, man. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The worst thing is the board trading.
I know.
Trading.
Well,
Anyways,
listen,
man.
there's other things. You agreed. Go read a textbook in the meantime. You'll have
Thank you.
fun.
By
All
the
right,
way,
bro.
I still gotta read the new one. Thank you so much,
Oh,
man.
well,
Chad,
I
really
want to hear. Check it out. Let me know your thoughts.
Yes,
All right?
I will definitely, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
You too, bro.
Thank you.
But thanks for being patient, everybody. FOMO, what's up, FOMO Futures?
Hi, Cheds. How you doing? I got two questions. I'll
Cool.
try to keep it brief.
Sure.
I think your last caller sort of touched on it in terms of talking about sentiment of the economy in general and just things in general, and then crypto.
Yeah.
And my question sort of is that it seems to me that from what I see on sentiment, like if I just compare the fear and greed index for crypto and the
Useless.
fear and greed, okay, let's say that's useless. The RSI for where crypto is and what the price action in crypto has been,
Yeah.
versus the price action in, let's just say, the S&P, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it seems like there's a divergence going on here, and I just wonder what your opinion is in terms of us potentially getting a bounce in crypto while the S&P sort of sells off a little bit more.
So it's great. First of all, thanks for stepping up, man. I think we talked before, but I'm not sure. It's interesting. If you go back, 7 or 8 months ago, maybe 9, 10 months ago, if you look at my comments, a lot of people would say, why are you even bothering to chart BTC? It's only going to follow the QQQ, right? Like there's a point in time where people started to think like there's no point. Like why, it doesn't matter, Cheds. All your TA won't matter. It's just going to matter like what the, Sunday futures opens at, right? And like maybe that was true for like a minute. But no matter what, like here's the thing: your trade has to be based on the information in the four corners of the chart in front of you. Like a contract, with a contract, it's based on the four corners of the contract, right? It's everything. Is Judge Judy taught me this. Everything on the contract is what matters. Okay, doesn't matter the side. I made a side deal with him afterwards. We had coffee. I bought him a drink, and I got him to agree to XYZ. No, the four corners of the contract. Same thing with a chart. Your trade is based on the four corners of the trade. So, to more directly answer your question, I think very easily Bitcoin could have a bounce, even with equities falling, just because who knows right now. I mean, what is going on right now? Outside, like if you look outside of the chart, it's an abject mess. It is complete nonsense, right? If you look at the chart, it's a neat, clean, orderly downtrend that is consolidated every step of the way. It is scary how clean this downtrend is. We're still well below the weekly EMA 8. There's so much damage that has been done. Bulls have to do so much to turn this trend around right now. So it's been an orderly, neat, clean chart. Outside of the chart, it's been just complete nonsense. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is happening. These exchanges fighting. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a total mess. So anyway, that's my thought on that.
We're all sort of like Wagyu beef. They're just massaging our liquidity one way or the other. So thanks for that. And then my second question is a little bit off topic, but just curious, Chad. You're somebody I followed for a long time. Look up to. You've written books and stuff like that.
Thanks,
just
bro.
wondering how what you would suggest to someone that has their own sort of trading style. grow a following, how to provide value, so on and so forth.
So you have to be willing to. You have to really put it out a lot of work. You have to a lot of content, and it may not always be great content, but you have to start out just trying to put out content. Even before I studied TA professionally, before I took it seriously, before I studied textbooks, I still taught what I thought I knew. And it turned out like some of that later was wrong, where I actually went back and realized there were a couple things, right? That I realized later were like, okay, I didn't have that one right. So what that means is try your best. But want to be putting out, you have to want to hold yourself to a high standard. Like, why did I do all these things? Like, I wanted to live up to my talk. I studied the textbooks, did CMT, practice all the time. I'm all the time practicing. I want to be, I don't want to be the best. I want to be my best, the best I can be. And if I'm competing at the top level, that's great. And I can be proud of that. And that pushes me to keep doing it. Like I want to remain on top, right? So how am I going to do that? I got to keep getting better. So want to get better, want to hold yourself to a high standard. There's ways to get yourself out there, reply to big accounts with your own charts. I actually get kind of annoyed when people do it, but I get it. Like I was doing the same thing. So, I mean, you got to just be out there and be active and put out content. And it's just a grind. And oftentimes you get a boost from someone, another big account, you get a reply, you get something. It's hard to know when it's going to happen. So you just try to build a body of work, try to create some alpha, and that's what I would say.
Right on. Thanks so much, Chaz. I appreciate it.
Cheers, dude. Appreciate you, man. Hey, you seen my YouTube, right? Obviously, and all that stuff. So thank you so much, Beast. What's going on, man? DSG Beast.
Hey, what's going on? Just about halfway through your most recent book with the quotes. I'm loving it so far.
Really? Oh, dude, yes! I'm finally talking to someone who has my book in her hand. Like, do you understand? I've wanted to publish that book for 4 months, but I kept editing it. Annoyingly. I almost went insane editing that book, but really wanting someone to read it. And
I started out just sort of just reading it from the front cover to back, and I stopped. I came back to it, and I just flipped it open to a random page, and I was like, I'm just gonna start reading quotes randomly, and that's sort of how I've learned how to trade, sort of just bouncing around, testing ideas out.
I like that.
Back testing them. Like whenever I create a new chart layout, I always take that back at least 6 months to, if not 2 years, and try to figure out every single time the setup told me to enter a position and see what would have happened, and sort of think through, even psychologically, man, this thing came within $4 of where I would have had my stop.
How would I have played it? Exactly.
I would have been sweating.
Yeah.
So that a lot of things, the quick snippets are great, and I think they have a lot of knowledge that you can read a quote and then read it again and get even more out of it, and I think that's great about a lot of the stuff in there.
What about the story? What do you think about the story in the beginning?
It's a great story. I mean, you have one of those stories where it's just wow, this guy just every turn, doesn't want to stop, whatever bump in the road, it's sort of like the trading mentality. You can get hammered 6 trades in a row, but maybe that 7th one that you enter with the same exact risk profile that you've been successful in the past with, and you're right back on track.
I love it.
So it's just keeping that positive mentality, and knowing if you got something going, just keep on that grind. What question I wanted to ask was,
thank you, by the way,
do you use stable coins at all?
What is it again? Stable coins? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which ones?
Oof. Oof.
And I guess I can grandstand a little bit about my Bitcoin maximalism.
Do you want to do that
After
first?
your
You want to
response.
do that first? And
Yeah,
first
yeah.
of all,
All right.
and thank you, thank you by the way for indulging me. Like you're my
Yeah.
first person I've been able to talk to who actually bought the book, like voice. So thank you.
I'm glad I could offer you some real time feedback.
Appreciate it, bro.
Honestly, if Satoshi is dead, I think he's rolling over in his grave. Hearing like if he was hearing about all of the stablecoin nonsense, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I hate the U.S. dollar, and every amalgamation of it is just as bad, if not worse, than actual U.S. dollars. You know, you're in Bitcoin. Well, at least for me, I'm in Bitcoin because I don't trust the U.S. government to not just hyperinflate the debt away, or do it slowly over time or whatever. So like that's why I'm in Bitcoin, and that's why like I bought in all those years ago for the same reasons. And all the reasons I got into Bitcoin, like all those beliefs are even stronger now than before. And seeing like Coinbase teaming up with BlackRock to do their stablecoin, I mean, like it's like giving the keys to the castle to the guys who are sitting on the golden throne.
Don't you think
I'm
it's
not gonna do
inevitable that what was once cool and obscure would like once be co-opted? Would be taken advantage of by the. I didn't say that well, but like.
Yeah, like it has to go mainstream at some point, and
Yeah.
those big names have to come in
Yes.
for that.
Take their taste.
The
They
big
got to get the
bull.
taste, right?
Yeah, the big bull run is gonna come when like actual Soros candles are happening
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
because
whoa, whoa, whoa! What? I mean, can we not give respect to what just happened, my friend? We had the perfect set of events to go from like 3K to 69K. I mean, when you say when the big bull run comes, I mean, I feel like we just lived through something pretty incredible.
Absolutely. But I always, I think there's a bigger one on the horizon.
Yeah. I like that.
And I think just like how the run up to 20K felt like the most incredible thing on the planet, and when we were sitting at 3K in that bear market all the way down, we were trading sideways, $10 candles,
Yeah.
like during over Thanksgiving, those
Yeah.
3 days where we had 3 straight days of like $1, $2, $3 bodies. I was like, wow, this feels like the 2018 like bear
Right.
market where we traded like sideways for so many days. And I remember Tone Vase shorting and like doxing his BitMEX account and having to close his short like the week we dumped. Like he closed his short and like got his
Yeah.
account banned like the
I
same
gotta tell you,
week, I feel
I
like.
Tone Vase knows Bitcoin. Like when I watch him, like he gets it. I mean, I give him. I don't really pay attention to a lot of people. Like I'll be no disrespect. Like I have to trust my own analysis. That's like key to me. Is I try to listen to nobody, but like Tone knows Bitcoin. So
Yeah, I like Tone's technical analysis. I'm not a big fan of his politics, but I think that's the beauty of trading is that I can hate someone's political stance. I can hate their technical analysis, but if they have had success in the past, I respect that, and
he knows
it's
Bitcoin. I agree with you. He
and
knows
you can
Bitcoin.
pick up a lot of valuable trading strategies and a lot of insights.
So you think? So what do you think, though? Do you think we are there? I mean, have we bottomed, or what? I mean, what's your feel? You've been around.
I think we'll have a shock right around Christmas that like I think we're gonna trade sideways until Christmas, and then like right around Christmas to New Year's we'll have like a shock, and who knows where that will take us. But I'll be catching the knife spot all the way down, and if it starts pumping, maybe we'll have a little echo bubble. Who knows? But I'm not expecting a whole lot of upside here past a lot of these downtrending moving averages.
Maybe
So
Ethereum though, right? Like Ethereum or some of these alts, maybe more so than Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin volatility is kind of trending down, right?
I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I don't even touch Ethereum.
Really? You're that much? I mean, me too, but you don't touch Ethereum?
No.
What do you mean like you don't touch it? Like when it broke the ascending triangle at 1270 and ran to 2K, did you wish you'd like touched it, or like what,
No.
Really? Interesting. Even though, I mean, from a trading aspect,
yes.
it's higher beta, right?
I'll look at the chart and be like, man, I wish I,
yeah,
slapped it along there. But
that's what I'm talking about. Like higher beta, it's an asset you can trade. Like, it doesn't mean you have to believe in it, right?
Well, yeah, and that's sort of my trading philosophy. Like, all right, I'm not touching it is a little disingenuous. I will only like if I sell some of my Bitcoin, I'll sell a little bit into like Tether, maybe like $1,000 into Tether.
Yeah,
like that's the most I will ever put into a stable coin.
I see,
and it'll be for like a few days because I'm like, man, I really want to short one of these altcoins. It looks so topped out.
Right.
Like it's a perfect setup.
Think about this. So let me interrupt you, and I want to hear what I want to briefly interrupt. Yeah. Think about that. You not only do you have to have like a proper trading strategy, but you have to have like a proper like stable coin management strategy in terms of how you're managing your risk at every step along the way. That's how messed up and complicated that like trading cryptos is. Right?
Yeah, it's like the counterparty risk. Like I don't trust anyone in this space.
Right. Nor should you now. What are you talking about?
There's so many people that I trusted, like, in 2018 that were scammers, 6 months later in 2018. So, I hope a lot of the people that are brand new to the space that were hoodwinked by the charlatans of this recent bull market, just be careful of the people that are trying their absolutely hardest to like make you believe in them, and just be skeptical is the biggest thing.
There you go. Well, you're hey man, thanks for stepping up, and definitely step up next time, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. All right, take care, brother. All right, let's go, Saurabh. You've been waiting for a while, Saurabh.
Yeah, hello, Chad. I'm Saurabh, and
hello.
Basically, I'm talking to you for the first time. So, thank you for hosting this AMA.
Tell me how you're doing, my friend.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing nice. Where are you from?
I'm from India. It's morning here.
That's wonderful.
Yes. So, basically, I have a question. I tend to get my analysis pretty correctly, but when it comes to execution, I failed miserably so far. So basically, all this year, all in 2022, I have been shorting while when it comes to trading. But unfortunately, I have lost money. And the whole year we are simply falling. And that's it. That's the big dilemma I have. But I really want to make into trading. I don't want to be a hodl kind of guy or a DCA kind of guy. I want to try myself with the trading, and I really don't know why I am getting analysis correctly but not execution correctly. Maybe because of
let me ask you a few questions. Are you using a trading journal?
No.
So how are you supposed to know what you're doing if you're not even writing it down? Like, do you have a perfect memory?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
So here's my point. Let me make my point. And let me try to help you.
Yes, please.
Okay. So first of all, have you been to my YouTube channel?
Yes, Chad. I have saw your all the videos of the free tutorials.
Okay.
As well as I saw your regular videos as well.
Have you seen the trading wisdom stuff? Like, that's more psychology. Have you seen the trading wisdom playlist?
Yes, sir. I have.
Good. So you have a good foundation. So I'll say one thing, two big things. First of all, you need to start using smaller positions because you're somewhere along the line, you're screwing it up because you're getting nervous, you're overthinking it, you're doubting yourself, right? And it's just because it's too big a position, right? It's just, you got to understand, smaller positions are easier to manage.
Right.
So if something's wrong, it's 90% of it. 90% of the time, you can solve that by having a smaller position. Okay, but you have to use a trading journal. Like, you got to write down how you're feeling when you're entering a trade, why you're entering it. What my stop loss is. What my thesis is, and you got to, like, what happened, record it afterwards. You got it. Like, you can't just make mistakes and say, I hope I don't keep making them. You got to attack them. Right? Attack your mistakes.
Right.
All right. Attack. I'm writing a book. My next book literally is a trading journal. And it talks about, like, how to fill out a trading journal and some of my sample trades. And each, like, story of a trade is to, like, teach a technique. I have a cool idea. It's going to take me a year, though. So in the meantime, you have to practice your journal. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I find it very difficult to manage the trade psychologically than technically, because I can see the breakout or breakdowns or
Good.
whatever consolidation. I can see clearly. I can visually map the future moves.
Smaller
Uh,
positions. That's it.
yeah,
Sorab, try the smaller positions, okay? And write it down, and then come back next time and tell me how it goes.
yeah, yeah,
All right?
yeah. Thank you, Che.
I wish you luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Velocity, what's going on, dude?
Oh, hello. Yeah, it's also my first time joining the room. I was just listening and I find it very interesting. Especially the part earlier where someone was saying he would not touch Ethereum even if it goes up. Because it's my first time here, I don't really know what your focus is on the room, but
Hold
I
on.
just wanted to.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Bonjour. Bonjour à
I
toi.
can tell my French accent. C'est bien. Okay, so what's up? So what's your
Oh,
question?
yeah, my question was, I guess it's not so much a question because I don't, well, I guess, actually, I do have a question. Okay. So you're into trading, obviously. You wrote a lot of books and you have a lot of followers there. What do you think of the people into Bitcoin who think they should never trade? And I think there was one earlier. They should just, buy and not be affected by the emotions at all and wait like
Yep.
fucking 7 years.
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts on that. All right. So how do you know when your idea is wrong? Like, I would ask that person, how define for me when that idea is wrong. Right? Like, would you agree
Right.
that anything that's an investment, like an investment has to be based on a thesis? And here's my thesis. I think this is I'm buying this house because it's in a great prime spot, and I think in 10 years it'll be worth more, right? Or whatever.
I see. Yes.
Like, you have
No,
an
I do have
idea.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
So
have a thesis. Like,
but not you, but let me. So I'm gonna walk you. I'm gonna walk you a la pied. I'm gonna walk you to where I want to
okay.
go.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay. So you have a thesis. You have to know when that idea is wrong.
Mhm.
Right. So that's okay. I can buy it because in 4 years it's going to be higher. Right. And that's worked in the past. Right. That has worked 3 times already. It's already worth 3 times, right? Or 3 or 4 times. But
Mhm.
here's the problem. If you look at the weekly chart on Bitcoin, it's never been this weak. It's never been in this much danger, right? We're trading below the prior all-time high. We've never spent this much time below the weekly 200 moving average. If you do technical analysis and you study what's called classical charting, that's Western technical analysis, right? I've studied Eastern, which is candlesticks. I've studied Western. There's all these different methods there within, right? But the foundation of it is a moving average is the trend. A 200 moving average is the trend in classical charting, right? The weekly moving 200 has never been this flat, and we've never spent this much time below it. So, like, you can't just say because it did this in the past, it's going to do it, for the last 13 years, it's going to do it for the next 13 years. It's such a new asset class. So
Right.
those people are relying on something that may or may not be true. So what's most important is how are they defining their risk? Are they willing to ride that down to zero to be right? Like, at some point you have to say my idea is wrong. So where does that idea, what is that point, right, where that idea is wrong?
Yeah, so no, are you actually asking me, or you were just trying to tell me
I'm
how I should
asking
think about
you.
this?
I mean, I'm rhetorically asking it. You don't have to answer it, but I'm putting the question out there for the purpose of, setting the table in the conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The way I see it is like the price. The price is basically the average of what the majority of the world thinks at a certain point. But the thing is,
Yes.
yeah, the thing is what people think. Sometimes the majority is wrong. That happens,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of those cases. I think the base idea is incredibly strong. It just keeps working no matter what happens. It cannot be changed by the laws of states. Like I
Got a
see
lot
like,
going
and
for it. It's
also
got a
all
lot
those,
going for it, right? The scarcity.
yeah,
It's got a lot going for it, right?
and the utility as well. Like the fact that it can save people from inflation. Like we're gonna have more. The inflation is going to be more and more of a problem in so many
But you're
like
making
dozens
an
of countries.
argument for a different thing. You're making a really eloquent argument for will it exist, right? Not will it be worth $100,000, right? Because there's two
Oh,
different
right,
things.
right.
You're making
But
like
what I
really,
can see, if
yeah,
you look at adoption,
yeah.
like I almost never met a Bitcoiner who just changed their mind and then went back to not being a Bitcoiner. So adoption is only going up on
Okay.
something that is absolutely scarce. So you have more and more demand on something that is absolutely scarce. You cannot have more of them.
But do fundamentals matter?
The
Does that
fundamentals.
matter? Does that matter? If there's not enough demand for the asset, does the fundamental matter?
It will delay things. If we have like 5 or 10 years where there's very like little demand, it's going to
Yeah.
delay the process. Yeah, it's going to
Right.
delay the process by a lot if that's the case. Yes, but it
Right.
doesn't. It just slows it down. Yeah, basically
Yeah.
what the states can do for propaganda against it. Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
they can make a lot of people.
Is that the biggest threat? The states, you mentioned that. Is that the biggest threat, you think?
No, I think the threat is just people. Well, if it starts to be associated, and I think we're already past that, but if it started to be associated only with like terrorists or something, then nobody would want to touch it.
Aren't we
But I think
past
we're
that? Aren't we past that? Drugs and terrorists. Wasn't that 2013? Isn't that in the past?
yeah, I mean it's like if you think about this, like the US dollar, like the cash, this is one of the major use for terrorism and like financing for some kind of like all kind of bad stuff, right? So if the goal is like I wanna kill whatever people are using the most for terrorism, like you should actually stop the US dollar. so that
Sure. Sure. It's a
yeah.
great discussion, but and I'm really glad you stepped up but it's all about a trade idea and when the idea is wrong, right? And all that stuff is fun to talk about, but like you can't get too carried away with the stories, right? Does the price hold support or not, right? Does the price break resistance or not? That's really the only thing that matters, right? So if you're responsible and you're managing your risk, you have to know where your idea fails. So I just want to keep getting back to that. That's how I think about everything. I think that is what's most important. It's the only thing we can control. We can't control the fundamentals. That's all theoretical. If that's important, the price will break support or it'll break resistance. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, thanks for your perspective.
Are you in France?
No, in the US.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, man. I appreciate you joining. I hope you join in the future. All right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We do have just one more, it looks like. I'm Big Chats on Twitter. We'll be wrapping it up pretty soon. Let's see. With Stocks Weekly. What's going on, bud?
Hey, Chads. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk here. Really appreciate what you're doing.
I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say, man.
Yeah. So just kind of piggybacking. Well, I do have a question, but before that, just kind of piggybacking on the last conversation from the previous speaker. I've been a crypto enthusiast since, probably 2006, end of 2016 into 2017. So certainly been around the block, and I've met a number of people throughout this process. And, he's talking about adoption, right? And that being part of his thesis. And I think that one thing you said is very important is that you're depending on it doing what it's done in the past, right? And I think that a bigger aspect of that dynamic is what we are looking at in the past and what it did in the past in a quantitative easing environment versus what we are in now with higher interest rates, quantitative tightening going on, and low interest rates and quantitative easing going on that was happening in the past. I think that's a big element. The other thing that I would put out there is the fundamental factor of things are priced in US dollars or euros or whatever you're in, right? When you go to buy something, can you buy gas with Bitcoin? Is it priced in Bitcoin? Before you buy something with Bitcoin, it's transferred or converted into fiat. That's the bottom line right now. And so you have these foundational elements that I think a lot of people are ignoring because they get caught up in the stories like you're talking about. And I just want to throw those out there for people to think about because, I've been to meetups and things like that with people. I was at a meetup when Bitcoin was at 45,000, and guys were telling me about how they took out mortgages and to buy Bitcoin, and it's their thesis is against hyperinflation, and that's why they're buying Bitcoin. And this is exactly what I told them. We were at a restaurant. I'm like, what here on the menu can you buy with Bitcoin? Nothing. For you to be able to do that, you have to transfer it into fiat in order to be able to purchase something or use it. So right now, the main purpose of Bitcoin is that it's a trading vehicle.
Right, sure.
So, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
And so you've made some great points. Yeah, really glad you stepped up. These are some kind of great topics. So I would just argue, first of all, caveat, I'm really just a terrible fundamental analyst, as you may or may not know. I'm really just a price guy.
No, absolutely.
I focus on the trend, but I understand it's a store of value for people as well. Bitcoin's a store of value. It's Bitcoin's the king. I'm because I don't understand fundamentals. I don't get too much into the altcoins, but in terms of I don't get into the what's behind it, and I don't need to. I only really care, does the price hold support or does it hold resistance?
Sure.
And so like Sol, right? I kept hearing about with fundamentals, right? They're so persuasive, these stories. When Sol was at 230 and people were telling me about all this and this stuff built on, and now this is coming, I almost started to believe it's just going to go to 1K no matter what. When you get really into these stories, it allows you to ignore the price. It starts to allow you to ignore a support breakdown, right? I've been through so many crushing losses, 6-figure losses.
Sure.
I was just talking about, I wrote about in a story. My third book, there's a story of some of the things I've been through, and all my biggest losses were things really believed in. I rode positions to zero. Overnight it was delisted, and I believed that it was going to be relisted under a new ticker and uplisted to NASDAQ, and I was going to be a millionaire off it.
Yeah.
I mean, I rode a position to zero.
Yeah.
I'm maybe not even just once. Okay.
I've
been through it. You read my books, you get that, right? So it's about, does the price hold support or not? So yes. And so it's not, easy money environment. I can understand that. I can understand the tightening environment. All the more reason to be cautious. Just kind of let things settle down. Bitcoin will probably still be around in 10 years and probably be higher in 10 years, but maybe not in 3, 4, 5 years.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Pick your spot, manage your risk. Don't just buy and assume it's going to go up, right?
Right. Yeah. And I wanted to just kind of get out there as someone who is a pro crypto guy, acknowledging these sort of other side of it, right? I think that when do you know your idea is wrong is part of that is acknowledging some other elements that are at play and not, being so zoomed in on what you want to believe or what you want to be the case. And as a trader, that's what often gets you in trouble, right?
Oh yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there for people to hear because I saw a guy take a mortgage out on his house to buy Bitcoin when it was at 45K after it dropped from 69. And I said, it's going back. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going.
Isn't that what Saylor said? Didn't Michael Saylor literally recommend people do that?
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
No, there's a video of him doing that. That's why I give him flack all the time. He literally recommended people take mortgages on their home to buy BTC at 50K.
Right.
It's irritating to me. It's just killing me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think it is important. So
anyway, thank you, brother. I appreciate you stepping up. I hope you're doing all right out there. All right.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you just one little question here.
Go for it. Please.
Yeah. Do you see relative strength in ETH versus Bitcoin going on right now?
Let me take a look. I mean, I know it has relative strength. as of late. I don't know, like in the last few days. I believe. Let's see, 1270. I mean, it's closer to the MA200, so that's relative strength. I haven't looked at the ETH BTC pair in a little bit, just because everything's been kind of sideways. Yeah, I mean, look, what? So to directly answer your question, is Ethereum stronger than Bitcoin? That's called ETH BTC. That's what that chart is. It's literally sideways.
Okay.
It's in a tightening range. I think it favors bulls though, but it's like a very slight. There's just not a lot here. There's not a lot of outperformance here,
Cool.
at least over the last like 5-6 months.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
But I think it's like, just from experience and gut, if I was to like throw out my technical training, and I would just say like Ethereum usually is like, it's higher beta. So like, there you go. I mean, yeah, that's going to be the higher,
Right. It moves a greater percentage.
Yeah. So I know that much at least.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. We'll do one more, and then I'm going to go to bed after that. Well, I'm going to go watch some TV. Jen, what's up, Jen?
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me up.
Good.
Quick question. Okay, so mine's not necessarily from a trader aspect. Mine is more from like the development product side of it.
Cool.
And I guess my question is, I'm involved in a project that is building specifically for professional traders and market makers and things. And two parts. Do you generally always trade on centralized exchanges? And if so, like what might keep you from decentralized, like from on-chain decentralized exchanges? And my second question,
personally, just what I know. I mean, just what I know, right? If it was like easy to know about those things, and there was tutorials and people I knew in my network who were doing it, and I just saw it around, it'd be easier for like me as an average person to just do that. But I kind of would just do whatever's most simple to me personally. Do you know what I mean?
Right, absolutely. Okay, and so that's what this is actually looking to do, is simplify that whole process. So I guess my second part of that question, well, another question I should say, is what would you want to see in a system that could simplify it for you as a trader with the system that you're using?
I mean, it's not the system. It's not about the systems. It's that I'll just, if for like a new idea to catch on, is kind of what you're looking for. Is it has to just be viral. It has to be in the ecosystem, in the bloodstream, and I just come across it, and I'm like, what's that? Oh, this person's talking about it. I'm interested. I mean, you know how these things work, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I'm speaking to how you actually like place your limit orders and things of that sort.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know
I'm
you
not
guys
like the wrong guy. I'm not really necessarily the guy to like drill down on the details on that. I'll give you more kind of conceptual ideas, and I'll give you my gut feeling on something and try to add value. But like, I'm not, going to kind of get you that other part you're looking for.
I understand. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to say was I noticed that you are a cancer survivor, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I hope you're well. Thank you for stepping up. All right, we'll do one more by the reminder. Real quick, we'll do one more. I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. I am Chart Nerd Newbie Helper. I am the author of Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know. You can get a free version of that on my YouTube channel at Cheds Trading. I'm also the author of My Battles with Cancer memoir. I'll send that to you for free. Just get me your email somehow. I just published my third book, Trading Quotes, a daily dose of trading wisdom, 365 quotes, one quote a day, all original, my original quotes, trading just mentality, and it's good stuff. If you like it, I hope you like it. I look forward to your feedback. It's available right now. And I am also on Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. I've been doing market. I'm sorry, I've had like 3-4 glasses of wine here, just hanging out with you folks. Most of the time I do these spaces in the afternoon. This is at night. I'm hanging out. It's candid. I like it. I like to switch it up, once in a while and just have a candid conversation. That's what this is. I'm a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live. I've been doing market updates there for over 4 years. Twice a week, I stop and do a market report, Wednesday, Sunday night. I haven't missed one in like at least 3 years. Doesn't matter. Sick, on vacation, I do a report. Really proud of our team. Probably the best in the world that covers Bitcoin. So, anyway, these spaces are super fun, right? Like, I love it. I can just hit some buttons on my phone and talk to people around the world. on Twitter, we're arguing. It's hard to know what people are saying. There's no context it's hard to get any kind of subtleties in what anyone is saying. So I really do enjoy the ability to do these spaces. So if you're a part of that, thank you so much. For those of you who are listening on the replay, thank you as well. I do upload all of these spaces to my YouTube channel. There's a playlist. This will be number 25. So there you go. Let's add just one speaker more, one or two more, and I'm gonna wrap it up. What's going on, Bharat? How you doing, man?
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for having me up here.
Cool.
So basically, I heard you say that you're more on price action rather than fundamentals, and
yeah, that's all that matters. That's really all that matters.
I totally agree with you there. And I was just wondering, what do you think about Bitcoin right now? Because based on my analysis, Bitcoin has this bullish RSI divergence. It's in a demand zone in its weekly time frame.
Okay.
USDT
Why is
dominance.
it weekly demand? No, it's not. It's not in a weekly demand zone. That's not true.
Oh, okay.
No, it's below support. Just broke support. The next level is 12K.
Okay.
Like we're hovering in between levels. There's no weekly demand.
But then, like,
level
the Tether dominance also had a double top, about to break its.
What is it again?
I said the USDT dominance also had a.
Who cares? What is that? Are you trading that?
No, I'm not trading
talking about
that.
Bitcoin.
But
so we're trading Bitcoin. We're not trading USDT dominance. Stop getting distracted by stuff outside of the price.
Okay, interesting.
The more you look for information out away from the price, the easier it is for you to narrative trade, to misinterpret a signal. Like what? Who cares? Like, show me price in relation to support. Show me a moving average that the price respects.
Okay.
Show me some candlestick action in relation to the Bollinger Bands.
Okay.
Show me something, right? Show me an inside bar break. Show me an outside bar. Show me an up thrust. Show me a spring. Give me something, right? Don't give me some what are you talking about? Like, what is that, right? Like on chain, like you can move wallets, you can do all these things. You can add information to satisfy a bias. But what is the point of that? Show me the price. What is the price doing?
I really like what you said about satisfying a bias. Yeah, I totally agree with you there, because I kind of think it's bullish, and I'm looking for reasons why it's going to be bullish by looking at the Tether dominance and the Bitcoin dominance.
Yes, you are. Yeah. I do the same thing because we're human. We're human. That's our battle, right? It's like, wait a minute, why are we doing this? Why am I coming to this conclusion? Right?
Right.
So you got to slow yourself down. If you have a trade idea, write it down on paper, right? And go do 25 push-ups and then read it again. Does it make sense? Or was I like looking for some quick action? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. But do you think that it's going to be bullish for a couple of weeks? BTC, I mean,
probably not. I hope so, but probably you'd have to say probably not, right? It's a trend. There's a trend. We have a trend. There's just been thought. There's been this thread of thought going around. I've observed where people are saying, bulls would. The price. We need some type of event to go down to 12K. Like we'd need an event. You know what I mean? Like we'd need like another blow up, or we'd need another.
Right.
No, a trend doesn't need anything. It's a trend.
It's a trend. Okay.
It's a trend. You don't need an event to continue. It's been driving me crazy, and I'm not. There's no guarantee it's going to 12K, but like, it's like the complete wrong way of thinking. It's just so. You don't need an event. It's a trend. That's the whole point. Either it's a trend or it's not. Right.
Right.
And, we're not even at the weekly EMA 8. We're in such a very easily classifiable state. In terms of trend analysis, there's not a lot of guesswork here,
Right.
From my perspective. I mean, it's just all I can do is give you my perspective.
All right. No, that was interesting. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me up here.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
All right. One more. We'll try Pro Trader. We'll see how that works out. Thank you, Bharat. Wish you well, brother. What's up, Pro Trader? How you doing?
Hey, good. Hey, my name's Elliot, by the way, coming at you from Perth, Australia. Thanks for the continued education that you've given. I've followed you for probably the last 2 years or so. And
tell me the weather. Tell me the weather. What are we looking at?
The weather right now, it's partly cloudy, sunny. It's in Celsius here, but it's Fahrenheit. It's probably about 73 degrees.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What are you wearing? You wearing
Dude,
like
I'm actually
light?
wearing like a sweater and jeans.
No kidding.
No, your body, I'm from the States originally. I've been here for 8 years, but your body
Yeah.
gets used to the climate really quickly. So
Yeah.
eventually it's like you think, oh, 70 is super warm. And believe it or not, you end up
Yes.
getting it feeling actually it's a bit cooler because you're used to that heat. So, yeah,
Right.
one of those things. But listen, just kind of an observation.
Tell me.
Why don't more people talk about the addiction side of trading? I've
Interesting.
been doing it the last 4 or 5 years, and I've gotten wrecked a
Yep.
lot of times, and I continue to get wrecked, honestly. But I'm
Yes.
making
Yes.
slow improvements. And one thing I've
Yes.
noticed with over the last 4 or 5 years since 2017, no one really talks about like how it sucks you in, and you become part of this.
Don't die though. Don't die though.
No, you do. Sorry, not you. Not you in general, but most.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So I have a quote in my mind from the book I just published. It says, "Am I gambling or is this real opportunity?" That should be the first and last question you ask yourself before you hit the buy button.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you have to always be asking yourself, "Am I just looking for action?" You have to always be checking your game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that comes, I mean, to develop that takes so long. Like I've been,
Yeah.
my gosh, like, no, I wasn't saying in regards to you not explaining that,
For
because
sure.
I think the
For
psychology,
sure.
what you've brought to the market is priceless. But most people in the realm, they don't talk about any of that. And yeah, when you go to general specifics when it comes to risk management, definitely. But like, man, it's definitely sucked me into another world. And even I'm somewhat of a conscious person, but even then you get sucked into these areas where it's really hard to decipher why you're doing it. And I definitely get it. I had rules. I mean, I've set rules, and you do everything you can, but one thought or feeling, maybe the day isn't, you're not feeling like you were the
Well,
next
hold
day.
on. Are you journaling?
On and off, but not as
So you're
consistent.
not doing everything you can do.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So that's the battle. You're smart enough to. You're like sniffing around the answer, aren't you? Huh?
Yeah, and I've taken a break for the last probably 5 months or so.
That's like the best thing you can do. But when you get a pair of break, taking a break with adding a skill.
Okay.
You got to read a book. Every time I took a break, I read a book.
That's
You
good.
got to do it because then you all of a sudden you get a little confidence. You come back because without confidence you've got nothing, right? And so
Absolutely.
if you want to keep your confidence, start journaling and like giving yourself a chance to learn from a mistake. Like an unlearned mistake will just sit there and decay on you and just rot and rust. Think about it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. I'll start doing that because it's something
Good.
that I know I can get good at, but
Yeah.
I really respect people like you and Bob Lucas and and a lot of the guys,
He's
because it's
great.
like the way you can the way you can go through the minefield is it takes us yeah, you're honed in to your skill and your psychology, which is awesome, man. So yeah, dude, thanks for the chat, and yeah, thanks for the continued stuff and the books, and I'll be getting the next one for sure.
I appreciate that. I look forward to you telling me what you think.
Awesome, man. Thanks, bro.
Cheers, man.
All
Stay
right.
safe so much. This has been wonderful. I love that I can just stop and talk to you. Please consider following me on Twitter at Big Cheds. Chart nerd, newbie helper, academic. I do a lot about trading psychology, risk management. I do some equities. I've been following more equities kind of the last couple of years, but I'm pretty much crypto guy, Bitcoin price nerd. Check out my YouTube channel at Cheds Trading. I have what I believe to be just a lot of really good stuff for you, and now you are part of it. This is episode number 25 in the Twitter Spaces Ask Me Anything series. This is this could be days later, and it's being uploaded to my YouTube channel. I'm hanging out in the chat room and we're talking about it. And so now there's 25 conversations for you to go and listen to. Learning is hard. It takes a long time. You got to put in a lot of work. It has to really kind of it's like You have to keep kneading that dough, keep kneading the dough, and kind of get it to the way you want to get it. So go take advantage of it. I think you should listen to all 25 of these. All right. Check out the Masterclass Technical Analysis tutorial playlist. I think it's going to be a great resource for you if you're looking to learn how to read a trend, how to identify support and resistance, how to use moving averages, candlesticks, indicator basics. It's something I'm really proud of. I'm also the author of, pardon me, my voice is going here. I'm the author of Trading Wisdom. It's available on Amazon. I've sold almost 15,000 copies. 4.7 out of 5-star reviews. You can get it for free on my YouTube channel. I have a third of the book up right now. I just published my third book, Trading Quotes. Check that out, and consider Bitcoin Live. If you're looking for a place to learn how to learn professional technical analysis, to join a wonderful team, I've been doing market updates there for over 4 years, and we have a really amazing team that I'm proud to be part of. So my voice is going. I've had a lot of fun. I thank everybody who stepped up. I would say if you join one of these in the future and you haven't contributed, I'd like to encourage you to contribute next time. I'll get King Wabi, and we'll do one more before I go. I'd like to encourage you next time to contribute. I really want to hear from you, right? It's all about you folks. It's not about me. So King Wabi, you got me, man. I saw you. I had to let you in. What's going on?
Yeah, what's up, brother? Yeah, I saw you had the space pretty packed, so just waited a bit. Yeah, man. I just wanted to know, brother. I know you've been in the crypto space for a while, and you have a vast majority of experience trading these markets. So I wanted to know, like, what is it that attracted you to crypto essentially, and stick to it, like trading through a bear market, all those things. Like,
you don't even know.
Nah.
So first of all, you haven't read my third book, because there's a story in it where I talk about how I learned about crypto and why, and like how I got here. And I've talked about it on like a bunch of times in YouTube and spaces. I was looking at my buddy's phone and I saw Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin. I thought, why does he have precious metals on his phone? It was like my first experience looking at it. And I didn't get it. My brain didn't know what to do with it. But I was already like a trend guy, right? And I was like, I wonder, are people into this Bitcoin stuff? This is 2017. Are people into Bitcoin? Like, what's the deal? Like, so I started doing Litecoin, Bitcoin charts, and I couldn't believe the retweets and tweets. Like all of a sudden, because I was at about 10K followers at this point, and I grounded up. I grounded that I was a newbie helper in the OTC penny stock market, and I got pretty good at Japanese candlesticks and risk management, and I grounded up to 10K, and then I got into crypto, and all of a sudden, like, because I was just putting out the same kind of like common sense, here's the deal type of stuff. And I got into Bitcoin. It was November 2017, and then I got diagnosed with cancer. Right? Then I get diagnosed with cancer, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. What's going on here? Right? And there was like a minute. There was a period in time where I was, trying to figure out what am I going to do. The average age for my cancer was like 80, and I was 39. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Right. And I started treatment, and really quickly, like the tumor started to go away, and I was like, I got this. And I started to really believe. So it didn't, that was that, but it was still sucked. It still sucked. And so I leaned into crypto hard, right? I leaned into crypto. I was in the hospital with a virus, and I said, I'm going to write the beginner's guide to cryptocurrency trading for my blog. And like I wrote this guide, and it did really well. And I wanted to do something. I needed something to focus on. I leaned on crypto, right? And so I became like crypto. And then I got lucky. I got some lucky breaks. People took care of me and amplified my network and brought me on their shows and invited me into circles. And I just, they really worked out for me. And so here I am today, feeling pretty good about where I'm at, but I want to get better. And that just drives me. I love writing books. And so that's that, man. There you go. There's your answer.
Thank you, Cheds.
Thank you, dude.
That was beautiful, brother.
Can't finish on anything else, man. All right. Appreciate you stepping up tonight. Take care, man. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. All right. Folks, I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. Thanks for hanging out with me here tonight. It's whatever is it, Saturday night. I hope everybody's doing all right. Talk to you soon. Big Cheds out. There it is. There's the replay from the Twitter Spaces just 3 nights ago. That was one of those evening spaces where I've had a few drinks and I'm hanging out. Most of the time it's the afternoon and kind of grinding it out during the day. That was one of those rare kind of weekend at night spaces, a little bit more candid, but I had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you have listened to all 25 episodes here in the Twitter Spaces playlist. That was episode 25. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out, folks. I'll talk to you soon. All right.